Hey guys, Ken Stretz Tactical. So I bought a brand new Glock Gen 5, Glock 19, sent it out to Wilson Combat, and had them do a workup on the gun, stippling, serrations, front cocking serrations, this pretty cool armor tough finish. They did a trigger job for me. They put an Apex connector in there, polished the parts. I believe they changed some springs too, if I'm not mistaken. Not to the point where reliability is reduced. Check the trigger pull weight. It's coming in at about 4 3/4, between 4.5 and 4 3/4. Got the Vickers Wilson combat sights, night sights, not the fiber optic version. That's pretty much it. Double undercut the trigger guard, and I added the extended factory slide holes. Right? So we're going to shake it out here at 25 yards. We got 3 different types of carry or duty ammo and 1 mag and match ammo. All right, first up, Spear Gold Dot, 124 grain plus P. 25 yards, we're going to do a 6 o'clock hold on each of these. Going hot. All right, let's check it out. All right, so it was a 6 o'clock hold. 1 flyer up there high in the 9 ring. All right guys, next up is Hornady Critical Defense 115 grain FTX. Again, 25 yards, 6 o'clock hold. Going hot. All right, let's go check it out. All right, way smaller group there. 1 little flyer to the right. I don't know if it's me today jerking the trigger, probably not looking at the group, but the groups are definitely a little bit to the left there. All right, next up is Federal Hydra Shok, 124 grain plus P plus, so pretty hot load. Bit left. Let's check it out. All right, so there's one over at 6 o'clock. I definitely felt like I pulled one right and I pushed one left. The gun's definitely shooting left. It's probably not the smallest group out of the bunch, and I don't think it's the largest, so we got 1 more ammo type to shoot. All right, so next up we got Atlanta Arms and Ammo Precision Match 115 grain full metal jacket. Out. All right, stringing kind of up and down. It's a little bit more to the right. I also put a little bit more finger in the trigger, so I definitely think the sight's got to be adjusted a little bit. I decided to run 1 more mag at 10 through the gun. I had some SIG 115 grain Elite Performance ammunition, full metal jacket. So put 10 rounds of that. See how that shakes out. Check check it out. All right, I definitely like the SIG ammo the least, for sure. All right, so I decided to push back to 50 yards with the two best shooting ammunitions. The first ammo type is going to be that Hornady Critical Defense 115 grain FTX, and then 10 rounds of Atlanta Arms and Ammo Elite Precision Match 115 grain Full Metal Jacket. 10 rounds, Hornady Critical Defense 115 grain FTX, 50 yards. So I'm going to change my point of aim center mass. It's a lot harder to see the bullseye back here at 50, for sure, especially mid-40s. All right, now 10 rounds Atlanta Arms and Ammo 115 grain Precision Match Full Metal Jacket. 50 yards, changing the point of aim to center mass. Again, it's a lot harder to see that bullseye at 50 yards. It's FBI bull with my mid-40s eyes now. Shitty grip. Push that one low for sure. All right, let's go check it out. All right. So, checking out the Hornady Critical Defense. And then that's the Atlanta Arms and Ammo match ammo. All right, so quick initial impressions on the Gen 5 Glock 19 that I sent to Wilson Combat. Again, the gun was brand new out of the box. Bought it and sent it off to Wilson Combat. So is it worth all the work that they did and whatnot? Now, you got to keep in mind a few things. The finish was very expensive, and I'm getting tired of black guns, and I think the finish that they did a great job, and it looks awesome. So that was a good amount of money to begin with. I think I spent $9 and change on all the work I did, and that was, oh God, maybe 2 something, close to 3, I forget, because there's 3 different colors in there. There's burnt bronze, there's black, and then there's that steampunk blue copper oxidized, I think they call it oxidized look or whatever, but you know, that color as well. So those 3 colors, and then battle worn, giving it that battle worn finish. And it also looks like they sprayed the frame black as well. If you look at the frame, it's a little duller than normal, and the serial number plate has like overspray on it, so it looks like they sprayed the frame as well. Trigger's great, probably the best Glock trigger I've ever felt, and that's what kind of got me into the gun, is holding one and dry firing it in the store in Long Island. Yeah, you could have done a 25-cent trigger job, I get that, and put a lighter connector and all that. They put the Apex connector, they polished some parts, and I believe they changed some springs. I don't know if it's the striker spring or whatever, but not to the point where it reduces reliability. And I put, whatever it was, 5 different types of ammo in there, plus P, regular ball, everything fed no problem, everything ignited no problem. And then I did it again at 50 yards with 2 different types of ammo. So there was 50, 60, 70 rounds through the gun. Everything worked flawlessly, no issues there. The accuracy wise, I went with the Wilson Vickers battle sights, and I've tried them before, and I wasn't a big fan because of the notch in the front sight. If the front sight was a little wider, the notch was a little more narrower to try to get more precise shots. That's why I usually put Hornady straight 8 night sights on my guns. It's easier to get more precision out of them. And again, P44 in a few weeks here, it's harder at distance for me, especially on an indoor range, or if I got under this overhang and shot under the overhang where there's not as much light on the sights. But even in the sun, when I started off before, and this has happened on previous range trips, that first sight picture or two, everything's great, but then it's even harder. And I get, rear sight's blurry, front sight's crystal clear, target's blurry, but the target's even blurrier than it used to be and harder to see than it used to be, if that makes sense to you. And as you get older, it'll make sense to you for sure. So, I'll play with it for a while, I'll shoot it, I'll carry it, and maybe at some point I'll try the Hornady straight 8 night sights. It seems like the sights, and this is one of the negatives I'll give to it. Now, I've been through the armor course 1,000 times. The certification's expired now, but whatever. I got the tools. I could have put the sights on myself. I paid them whatever it was, the $50 install and test fire, and the gun's shooting to the left. So, I could have saved money, and the gun's a little off anyway. So, that part was probably a waste of money. And you could say the color is a waste of money. The grip texturing, not super aggressive, again, like my Salient Arms, but if you check out my Salient Arms now, I carry it nonstop. I teach classes with it. I take classes with it. The gun, it's got over, I don't know, 27,000 rounds through it, so that the grip texture isn't what it used to be. It used to be really aggressive, and I never sanded it down or nothing, but over time, it's going to wear down. The Wilson isn't too aggressive, and I don't think it's going to wear down over time. Is it worth what I paid for it? I don't know. And I also wonder if them spraying the frame took away from a little bit of the grippiness of that texturing. Sorry, the wind's blowing this thing a little bit. Overall I like the gun. Yeah, you could have saved money. I didn't need to get the serrations on the top or the front cocking serrations. Didn't need to get it colorized and whatnot. Maybe I didn't even need to get the trigger guard undercut. I like the trigger guard undercut because I get that Glock knuckle. I hate using weird phrases people came up with, but I get that Glock knuckle shooting it. So shooting with Glock. So I like it. But I'm interested to shoot it some more and maybe change out the sights for Hornadys and see how I do at 25 and 50 with sights where there's less margin for error left and right of the front sight in the rear notch. So it's a Glock. It's a pretty Glock. It's an expensive Glock, and it's not for everybody. I like texturing, grip texturing. Helps the gun move a little less in your hands, but I think it needs, if you're going to do that, you got to get a more aggressive grip texture, but you also got to keep in mind you're probably going to have to get it redone over time to keep it aggressive, because you get the grip texturing aggressive, it does prevent the gun from moving in your hands somewhat. And then you could say, yeah, grip it a little harder. I know when I was shooting, the gun came out of my support hand a little bit. It's cold. It's like, I don't know, 39, 40 degrees out here today. As you can see, I got a jacket on and stuff. You can probably see my face is red, my ears are red, but, whatever. I wasn't gripping it as hard as I could. So the harder you grip it and, the texturing that's on there, whatever. So, but, it's a Glock. It works. It's accurate enough. And just by, looking at the targets, you can, it's just another testament to test your ammo with your gun and your sights and whatnot, and see which one is the most accurate for you. And obviously the terminal performance, in gelatin, and then any kind of reports, if it's ammunition that police departments use, how's that ammunition shaken out in the street? Because from gelatin to real human tissue and whatnot. And I'm no ballistics expert or anything like that, but there's always been that debate. Like, yeah, it does great in gelatin, but how does it do in the street? So, so that's it, guys. I hope that answered any questions or whatever you may have about sending your gun to Wilson or buying a Wilson gun. They make great stuff and great 1911s. And that's it. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the range.